Don't let her size fool you. The energy she carries will leave you stunned. Watch closely till the end, because what you'll discover about feminine power will change how you see women forever. Comment below where you're watching from, hit that subscribe button, and join our journey to understand the hidden secrets of attraction and energy. You won't regret it. You might look at her and immediately think, she's small, she must be quiet, reserved, maybe even timid. That's the trap most people fall into. The truth is, her physical stature has almost nothing to do with the magnitude of her presence. There's a kind of energy in small women that often goes unnoticed, underestimated, and yet it can be shockingly powerful. People often forget that influence doesn't come from size. It comes from the energy you carry, the confidence you radiate, and the psychological impression you leave behind. And when she walks into a room, her presence is often felt before it's even consciously acknowledged. Many underestimate her simply because of societal assumptions. We are conditioned to associate dominance and strength with size, loudness, or physicality, and yet life continuously proves that influence and magnetism aren't bound by such superficial measures. A small woman who knows herself, who understands her impact, doesn't need to shout to be heard. Her energy is quiet but compelling, subtle but unforgettable. She understands that people often misjudge what they cannot see or measure, and she leverages that to her advantage. There's a strategic intelligence in that kind of presence, and it's deeply psychological. The fascinating part is how easily she can disarm others. Because society underestimates her, she operates from a position of surprise. When she speaks, when she acts, her influence is amplified precisely because expectations were low. This isn't just luck or coincidence, it's the natural effect of underestimated energy. Small women often understand the psychology of perception better than most. They observe, they gauge, and they respond with precision. They know how to draw attention without demanding it, how to make others lean in without pushing, and how to leave a lasting impact without a loud declaration. And this brings us to the concept of feminine energy itself. Feminine energy isn't about physical dominance or aggressive assertion, it's about presence, intuition, and subtle influence. It's about creating a ripple effect in every interaction, leaving people feeling seen, affected, and even a little unsettled in a way that's compelling. A small woman can embody this energy intensely. She can turn a glance, a gesture, or a simple word into something that resonates far beyond her physical frame. The irony is that the very thing that causes others to underestimate her, her size, becomes her secret weapon. It's also important to recognize the philosophy behind this energy. Size is tangible, influence is abstract. A small woman often understands that reality isn't about physicality. It's about perception, emotion, and connection. She moves through the world with an awareness that many louder people never achieve. She sees the subtle patterns in behavior, the unspoken cues, the tiny shifts in mood or attention. And because she notices these things, she responds in ways that feel effortless, natural, and yet profoundly impactful. People don't always know why they're drawn to her, but they are. Another element is confidence. True presence comes from a deep understanding of oneself, a recognition that value and influence aren't measured in inches or pounds, but in the energy you bring into every interaction. A small woman who has cultivated this awareness can carry herself with a quiet authority that is impossible to ignore. Confidence in a small frame isn't about trying to appear larger than she is. It's about being fully aware of the power she already possesses. It's psychological mastery applied in everyday life. The beauty of this is that her impact is often disproportionate to what others expect. People are wired to underestimate, to make assumptions based on appearance. And when she defies those assumptions, the effect is almost magnetic. She becomes memorable not just for what she does, but for how she makes others feel. Her energy lingers, her presence resonates, and her influence extends far beyond what anyone anticipated. That's the quiet, yet formidable power of a small woman who knows herself. So when you encounter someone who seems small in stature, pause before you make assumptions. Watch closely, because what you see might only be the surface. There's often a depth, a psychological sophistication, and an energy that is entirely unexpected. Her size does not define her influence. Her awareness, her confidence, and her understanding of human behavior do. And if you are willing to pay attention, to truly notice, you'll witness something remarkable, a woman whose presence can fill the room not with volume, but with power. Remember this: never underestimate someone based on appearance alone. Energy, presence, and influence are invisible forces, yet they shape reality in profound ways. She may be small in size, but the impact of her energy can be seismic. And for anyone willing to recognize it, this is not just an observation, it's a lesson. Small in stature, yes, but boundless in effect. Small in body, immense in energy, her influence reminds us that the true measure of power is never in size, but in presence. Pay attention and let it change how you see the world around you. When we talk about feminine energy, one of the most misunderstood aspects is the role of emotional intelligence. Small women often wield this quality with remarkable precision, and it amplifies their presence far beyond what size might suggest. Emotional intelligence isn't just being nice or sensitive. It's a keen awareness of self and others, a deep understanding of how emotions guide behavior, and the ability to navigate those dynamics with skill. For a woman who is small in stature, this awareness often becomes a core part of her power, allowing her to influence situations without overt force. She notices the subtle shifts in tone, the fleeting expressions, the tiny cues that most people overlook. It's in these moments that she can decide how to respond, how to adapt, and how to leave a lasting impression. While others may rely on volume, physicality, or attention-seeking tactics, her influence is quiet but precise. She understands that connection comes from being attuned to the emotional landscape of every interaction. And in doing so, she creates an aura of intuition and insight that draws people in, making them feel both understood and captivated at the same time. This heightened emotional awareness also allows her to manage perception strategically. She knows that people constantly interpret signals, sometimes consciously, often unconsciously, and she is adept at shaping these perceptions without being overtly manipulative. It's not about control in a negative sense. It's about understanding human behavior and using that understanding to create harmony, intrigue, or attraction. This kind of skill is rarely acknowledged openly, yet it is one of the most powerful tools a small woman can possess. Her physical size does not diminish her ability to influence. Her mind and awareness magnify it. Feminine energy, at its core, thrives on subtlety. It's about creating an environment where people feel drawn to her naturally without pressure or force. The small woman who masters this does so because she has honed her perception of nuance. She can sense when someone is guarded, when someone is open, and when someone is on the verge of curiosity. She doesn't need to dominate a conversation to be memorable. Instead, she knows exactly when to speak, when to pause, and when to leave space for anticipation. It's this intuitive rhythm that allows her to create a resonance far larger than her physical frame might suggest. Philosophically, this speaks to a broader truth about human interaction. Influence is rarely about what is immediately visible. Just as gravity cannot be seen but is undeniably felt, her emotional intelligence exerts a force that is invisible but compelling. People often underestimate her simply because they measure influence by surface level factors, height, volume, or assertiveness without recognizing the invisible currents of perception, empathy, and intuition that truly shape relationships. The small woman who understands this sees herself not as limited by physicality but empowered by insight. One of the most fascinating aspects of this dynamic is how it intersects with attraction. Women with strong emotional intelligence understand what resonates with others on a deep level. They can sense desire, curiosity, hesitation, or admiration, and they know how to respond in ways that amplify engagement. This isn't about playing games or manipulation. It's about aligning energy, understanding psychology, and creating an authentic connection that feels magnetic. The effect is often disarming because it is subtle, unexpected, and profoundly human. Her presence becomes something people remember long after the moment has passed. This kind of skill doesn't develop overnight. It's cultivated through self-awareness, reflection, and experience. Small women often spend more time observing the nuances of interaction precisely because they know that their physical stature might not command immediate attention. In observing and understanding others, they develop a kind of mastery over social dynamics that can surpass even those who rely on more overt forms of presence. And when combined with confidence and self-possession, this emotional intelligence transforms into an almost tangible power, one that can shape perceptions, influence decisions, and create attraction in a way that feels effortless. Consider the philosophical dimension. Influence is not about overpowering others. It's about understanding and navigating the world with awareness. The small woman who embodies this principle does not need to impose herself. She moves with the current of human behavior, adjusting her course with finesse and subtlety. Her emotional intelligence allows her to anticipate, adapt, and respond in ways that feel natural, even inevitable, to those around her. This mastery over human connection is what makes her energy so potent, so memorable, and so surprisingly commanding. So when you encounter a woman who is small in stature, pay attention to the depth of her awareness, the way she reads a room, and the energy she brings into every interaction. Her impact isn't loud or physical. It's psychological, emotional, and deeply felt. She can shift moods, influence decisions, and create attraction with a subtlety that is both shocking and beautiful. Understanding this aspect of feminine energy is crucial because it reveals a dimension of power that is often overlooked. True influence doesn't demand space, it simply occupies it effortlessly, and the lesson extends beyond attraction or relationships. Emotional intelligence is a tool for life, for leadership, for understanding and navigating human interaction in every context. Small women often exemplify this principle most clearly because they have had to rely on insight, awareness, and connection rather than size or force. Their energy reminds us that the world responds to perception, presence, and subtlety, not just physicality. Remember this, her stature might be small, but her emotional intelligence magnifies her influence. She moves through the world with a quiet power that surprises and captivates. Pay attention, observe, and learn because the lessons in her energy extend far beyond what you can see. Physical size might limit her frame, but emotional intelligence expands her influence infinitely. Never underestimate the woman who knows herself and understands the world around her. Her presence is quiet yet unstoppable. There's a kind of magic in how small women use presence, playfulness, and mystery as tools of influence. It's a combination that is rarely taught, seldom understood, yet profoundly effective. Presence alone doesn't come from size or appearance. It comes from awareness, timing, and intention. A small woman who understands this can command attention without demanding it, making people lean in, listen, and remember her long after she has left the room. Her impact isn't measured in loud gestures or dominance. It's measured in the subtle ripples she leaves in the emotional currents of everyone she encounters. Playfulness is a central component of this energy. There is a psychological reason why playfulness is so compelling. It triggers curiosity, lowers defenses, and creates an emotional connection without overt pressure. Small women often use humor, teasing, and light-hearted interaction to engage people in ways that feel natural, spontaneous, and intimate. This isn't superficial or trivial. It's strategic. Playfulness creates intrigue, and intrigue creates attention. People are drawn to what they don't fully understand, and a playful demeanor can transform someone underestimated into someone unforgettable. Mystery is equally essential. Small women often understand that being completely known is rarely empowering. They preserve a sense of the unexpected, the unknowable, the subtle complexity that invites others to explore without fully penetrating. Mystery amplifies presence because it creates a psychological tension, a curiosity gap that people instinctively want to close. It's the reason her influence can feel larger than life. Even a single glance, a carefully chosen word, or a fleeting smile carries weight beyond the immediate interaction. This kind of energy is profound because it leverages human psychology in ways that are both subtle and undeniable. Presence, playfulness, and mystery don't exist in isolation. They are intertwined. A small woman who embodies all three can create a rhythm in interactions that feels effortless yet deeply compelling. She can command a room not by volume, but by the way she navigates attention and emotion. She knows how to move between being seen and being enigmatic, how to engage fully and then step back, leaving people wanting more. This is the art of psychological influence. It is precise, elegant, and immensely powerful. Consider the philosophical dimension of this energy. Physical size is linear and finite. Presence and influence are multidimensional and expansive. When a small woman understands how to wield her energy, she transcends the limitations imposed by mere physicality. She recognizes that human attention, desire, and emotional resonance are currencies far more valuable than physical dominance. She moves through the world with awareness, noticing how gestures, tones, and pauses affect perception, and she adjusts her behavior in subtle, almost imperceptible ways. The result is a force of personality that is both grounded and ethereal, small in size, yet shockingly impactful. This combination of presence, playfulness, and mystery also affects the way she is perceived in relationships and social dynamics. People are drawn to her because she offers engagement without predictability, connection without pressure, and energy without overt dominance. Her small stature often encourages underestimation, which she turns into advantage. While others may try to assert themselves physically or verbally, she engages on a psychological and emotional level, often achieving results that others cannot anticipate. Her influence becomes disproportionate precisely because it is subtle, intelligent, and unexpected. From a practical standpoint, the way she uses these tools creates lasting impressions. A playful remark lingers in memory, a mysterious smile invites curiosity, a confident presence commands attention. All of this is psychological mastery at work, something that cannot be quantified by size, strength, or volume. It is a force that operates beneath the surface, shaping perceptions, emotions, and interactions in ways that are both profound and enduring. Small women often intuitively understand this, and it becomes a natural part of how they navigate life, relationships, and influence. It's also worth noting the courage involved in maintaining this energy. Mystery presence and playfulness require self-awareness and restraint. She must know when to engage and when to step back, when to reveal and when to withhold. This requires an understanding of herself, of others, and of the dynamics at play in every interaction. Her power is not in coercion or manipulation. It is in the mastery of timing, perception, and emotional resonance. And it's this mastery that can surprise, captivate, and even overwhelm those who fail to anticipate the depth of her energy. Ultimately, the lesson is clear: physical size is a superficial measure, easily observed and often misleading. What truly defines influence, attraction, and presence is the energy she carries, the psychological sophistication she embodies, and the intentionality with which she moves through life. Small women remind us that impact is not measured by space occupied, but by the impression left, the curiosity sparked, and the resonance felt. When presence, playfulness, and mystery are combined, they create an energy that is as unforgettable as it is unstoppable. So when you think about someone who might appear small or underestimated, remember to look deeper. Observe how she commands attention, how she engages without force, and how her subtle mastery of psychology makes her energy undeniable. Her influence is not just in what she does, but in how she makes others feel intrigued, connected, and captivated. This is the essence of feminine energy in its most refined form. Size may be limited, but presence, playfulness, and mystery know no bounds. Never underestimate the woman who understands her energy. She is small in frame, but boundless in impact.